Do you two believe in fate? That everything happens for a reason? The good, the bad, the otherwise?
Yes, that's why the Cherries are winning the Premier League this season.
I think you're a master of your own destiny. Every person's destined for something, and then you can choose to do it or not. I think some people are just made to do things, and you can go down that path or not.
Well, that's sort of the heart of this story. This is a story about Bill Fong, a bowler in the United States, and his 900 series. Hello and welcome to the wild world of sport, the podcast where three friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey, try and find the wildest story from the world of sport. My name is James Whybrow. I am the lane commissioner for today's episode.
More like lame commissioner.
Oh, you're just out to be mean to everyone. Last episode you started throwing shade to Zoe and Felix. Now it's to me.
I'm very grateful for them filling in my absence.
You're really acting like his brother. No relation.
I'm James's brother Ben, no relation.
And I'm Carlin, related.
So, do you two know much about...
No. You know Patrick Star?
Yeah.
That's
Is
my
this your
house.
wallet?
Yeah, that's me.
It must be your wallet. Do you two know much about 10-pin bowling? AMF or zone bowling here.
Now, we were talking about fate. I'm a big believer of fate in bowling. It's just got to be, the right bowl, and it's it's the same as pool. I talk to the balls.
Talk to the pins.
Yeah, no, I talk to the ball and I tell it, this is what you're going to do. The pins are way down there. They can't hear me. I got to talk to what's right next to me. Don't be ridiculous, James. How the hell am I going to talk to something all the way down the other side of the lane?
My mistake.
I think I know enough to know that I know practically nothing. I know how to play, but that's about it.
Bowling is one of those sports where there is I think a very steep curve of being... Anyone can just go and have a bowl and enjoy themselves, but you have to put in a lot of hours and a lot of training and a lot of effort to be really good at bowling. If I go and bowl, if I get 120, I'm pretty happy with it. That's a good score, but that is absolute dog water in a league game. And Bill Fong is a league bowler. So America, huge bowling scene, league bowling in particular. You don't know the Simpsons,
It's a little bit
pals.
like darts, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it's obviously we play darts, and it's anyone can play darts. It's cool, I'm hitting the board, I'm playing darts. But it's no, these guys that are playing darts, they're hitting the triple 20 3 times in a row.
Yeah, you're getting a 9 data.
Yeah. And it's
average
same
player
with
would
bowling.
never-
It's
couldn't dream to
these
get
guys are
9
hitting
data.
a strike. They're just going to do that because it's I need to hit a strike right now.
Yeah, it's for you and me, hitting 180, I'd be telling everyone about that. That'd be insane. For a professional dart player, that's nothing. Same for bowlers. If I ever bowled close to or got 300, I'd be ecstatic. That'd be insane. For these league bowlers, every day in America, most likely just from the sheer volume of bowlers, someone's hitting 300. But the story I'm telling is about more than 300. It's about 900. So the way league bowling works is it's 3 games. And you normally have teams of 3 to 5.
So you hit 3 perfect games.
3 perfect games, yeah. So you hit a perfect game, then a perfect game, and then a perfect game.
Do you get drug tested after?
So we're looking like Jamie Vardy's 11 match scoring streaks.
Looking like this, yeah. But before I get into all that, I'll just tell you a little bit about bowling. So the rules of bowling. One of my favorite movies is The Big Lebowski. There's a great line from it. And it fits in with our previous story and some of our other stories. Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules. So a bowling lane is 60 feet long and 42 inches wide. There's 10 pins that you have, and they're numbered. So it starts 1 at the top, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, behind the 3 behind it, and then the 4 is 7, 8, 9, 10. So commonly you might hear referred to a 7-10 split.
Yeah.
That means you've knocked over every pin except the 7 and the 10, the two that are furthest apart.
And that's the hardest one to get.
Yeah, because you've got to hit one so it bounces and then hits the other one, or hit the pin with the ball just right so it ricochets and hits the other one.
That's really hard when they've got the rubber mat at the back that just dampens all the momentum.
Yeah, it's not an easy shot to do. But the ideal shot bowling is to get a strike. So do you guys understand how bowling scoring works? Because before looking up this story, I vaguely had an idea, but I didn't know.
Well, I've
To
got
be
a
honest.
little bone to pick, actually. I don't think the best thing's a strike. The best
No?
thing's to get a spare every time because you're maximising your bowling. If you get a strike, you miss out on your second go. You're playing half a game.
Look, value for money, you're not wrong. I
But
guess.
then that being said, don't you have? No, I can't remember how it works. It's been an ages since we've gone. In the last one, it's like you get the extra bowl.
Yeah.
On the 10th frame,
Yeah, so it's
you
like
get like 3 chances if you get a strike on the first one.
yeah. So then you have to get a strike in the first one. You can't spare
Yeah.
it in that instance.
Okay.
Well,
So
if
then
you get
want
a spare
strike
on the
strikes.
second one, you still get a third one.
Right, but then you wouldn't get as many points, or do you don't get to go 3 times? You just get to go twice.
So I'm going to
I
explain
know a
to
strike's
you,
worth 20.
well,
A spare's worth 10, but I don't know the exact calculation, but I know your previous frame gets counted towards your next one if you're like getting strikes or spares or something.
you're close. I'm going to explain how bowling scoring works
'Cause it's
because
like-
it's important for
It's like a kill streak.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. So the way scoring works is you have 2 attempts per frame and you have 10 frames. So in frame 1, let's say you throw it and you knock down 5 pins. So your score is 5. Your second go in the frame, you knock down 3 pins. So your score is now 8 for that first frame. Then you move on, you do the same thing again, you add 8 and 8, and that makes 16
Yeah.
across your first 2 frames. But what happens if you get a spare? So if you get a spare,
In your first frame.
Is a spare, if you get like a 5 into a spare, you get 5 added onto the next one?
so the way it works is the first throw from your next frame is added on after a spare. So you get 5 and then 5 is 10. You got a 10, you got a spare for your first one. The first throw in your next frame gets added. So you get 5 again.
and after a strike as well.
I'll get to that.
Even more. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
So 5 plus 5 is 10 for your first frame, plus another 5 as your first throw in the second frame, makes your first frame score 15. Say then you don't get a spare in the second, you only get 1 more pin, so you have 6. So your first frame is 15 plus 6 is 21 total.
Yeah, because there's 10 frames, 10 pins, 10 times 10. That's not adding up.
But I guess on the last frame, you have the 3.
You get
can
the 3, but that doesn't get you to 300.
So for a
bonus points.
strike, you get both numbers from your next frame is added. So if you get a strike, you knock down all 10 pins, that's 10, but your score won't show up straight away.
Which is how it becomes tripled?
Yeah, so you bowl your next one and you hit 1 and 1, so that's 2. 2 plus 10 is 12, so your first frame is 12. But say you get a strike and then another strike, well, that's only 1 of your next bowls counted. And then you get another strike. You get 3 strikes in a row, which is called a turkey. You add 10 plus 10 plus 10, so your first frame is 30.
So someone that gets like 3 strikes in a row, and then they peter off a bit, and then at the end they get 3 strikes in a row. That's better than going like strike, no, strike, no, strike, no, strike, no, because you're not getting any bonus points.
Exactly.
So that's why the 10th frame has those 2 extras, so you can then get them added on to your 10th frame.
Exactly.
So if you got 9 strikes in a row, and then on the 10th frame you got a strike and then gutter balled it, that's only worth 10, that last one. So you get 280.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
This is really making me want to go bowling.
Yeah,
be
doing
honest.
this story, I want to go bowling
Kind of
too.
fascinating.
Adding to this, the more you dive into it, the deeper sort of the trickiness of it goes, that lanes are oiled specifically, and there's different
Looking at
types.
the pictures now.
Yeah,
I was
the-
wondering that.
Picture up at Wild World of Sport of how they oil lanes. This is only a select few of them from the PBA, Professional Bowler Association. So you have the Badger, which is oiled 52 feet long, and it makes it hard to hook balls. So
So-
hooking is when you start the ball on the outside and then have it spin back. Because ideally, to get a strike, the best way is to hit the pocket, which is between the 1 pin and the 2 pin, or if you're left-handed, the 1 pin and the 3 pin. Because if you hit it dead on, you're not going to disperse the pins enough to hit everything else. But if you hit it at a slight angle, it's going to bounce everything a bit more and make a strike more likely.
I have a question, but I will let you keep explaining because you might answer it.
And so in the picture, the dark blue is more oil, and then the lighter blue is obviously less oil. So different oils make it harder. So the cheetah is only 35 feet of oil, mainly on the center. So it's harder for bowlers to hook it from the gutter, because when you're bowling on oil, imagine it's like your car tires in the wet. It just sort of slides in the traction instead of rotates and spins. And when it doesn't have traction, it doesn't rotate and doesn't spin. So you're going on that same line, even if you've flicked it with a lot of spin, until you get off the oil, and then it starts curving. So you could bowl in the same spot on 10 different lanes and your ball will end up in 10 different spots.
All right, I'm going to have to ask the question now. I think you are sort of half explaining it, but I'm just not quite getting it. So I'm going to ask a question for all you viewers that are thinking the same. Listeners, I guess. So anyway, so with the different levels, obviously, like, how quick is the turnaround of the oiling? So, like, are you playing one whole game with like shark oiling?
No, they don't come in between games and re-oil all the centers.
Well, so
Same
basically,
bowling
is
alley
it like
have
by
all
the
the
venue?
same.
Not usually. No, there'd be a bunch of different variations. And as well...
Inside the venue.
Yeah.
So it's not like,
So
we're going to this
Lane
venue.
1 could be cheetah, lane 2 be bear.
Yeah, and this is really getting in the weeds of the oiling. I watched a video of someone explaining them. I couldn't see anything on the lanes. And also, as the night or the days or the weeks go on, the balls pick up the oil and disperse them around a bit more.
So a little bit like
So that's why they always
cricket
polish the
and stuff
balls.
and-
Yeah,
Constantly.
exactly. They keep polishing the balls to get the oil off them. It's a bit, again, like tennis. Like you think of Wimbledon, which is played on grass. Day one of the tournament, it's all nice and pristine. But by the end of it, it's been all dug up where everyone's been running around in it.
Another question: how oiled are our typical bowling lanes that we go and bowl at? Are
So
we
if-
getting just random amounts?
So for us, they're oiled because what's the point of bowling if you're not knocking down pins for a layman? So they're created to be a bit easier, where there's a lot more oil in the middle to keep your ball straighter. So you're more likely to hit the pins than playing on one of these.
So
different-
our fields aren't regulation lanes.
Yeah, they're easier. It's almost, for a professional, almost playing with the bumpers up because of how good the oil
It's like
is.
going to a driving range and just like
Whacking
just
them out.
Go loose. Like
Exactly. So these are, I've seen it described as golf courses, that every lane is slightly different, but everyone knows their home golf course. Tiger Woods, for example, his home course, he knows every little divot in it. Bill Fong knows every different lane at the Plano Super Bowl in Texas. And because of, just another thing, left-handers, Benjamin, have it a bit easier as well, because right-handers more
superior.
common. Maybe there's right-handers more common than left-handers, so more oil is getting taken to the right side, meaning that you can hold your line a lot more than a right-hander would and make less adjustments. Because say out of the 8 people in a league match, only one of them's left-handed, so only you're bringing oil to that left side.
I was
So
going
it's
to
more
say,
of a
does that
controlled
happen in
environment.
cricket? But I guess you can just turn the ball
You just go
around
around or
other
over the
way.
wicket.
So the United States Bowling Congress regulates the perfect series. To date, as of the start of November 2025, 39 people have bowled 900 40 times. There's one person who's done it twice.
Did you say the United States Congress?
Bowling Congress.
Oh, okay. I
They
was
take
gonna
this
say.
stuff very
Do they
seriously.
have elections?
I assume they have elections. So the first official recognised perfect series was in 1997, 20-year-old Jeremy Sonnefield, and Robert Mushter is the youngest. He at 17,
Peaking in high school.
maybe a little bit, because he is the only one that has 2. So December 3rd, 2004, and February 19th, 2005. So less than 3 months apart, he bowls 2 perfect series at 17. Absolutely insane. The oldest person to have a perfect series, John Buchanan III, at 71.
Are you allowed to use those little ramps that they use?
No.
Oh.
No, and you wouldn't want to because you can't get the spin on the ball, and it's all about hooking it and hitting that sweet spot. That'll be good to drive it straight into the pins, and a kid will knock a bunch over, but that's not the optimal way to do it.
Are there like regulations on what your bowling ball can be? Because I know like you go to public bowling alley and they'll have the different sizes.
Yeah,
and things there.
they're dog water compared to what these league bowlers are using. They're using their own balls, specially drilled holes for their fingers in different spots. They know these balls inside and out, and a lot of them will have multiple.
So obviously, because you can get specially drilled holes, can you just have no holes?
You need to have some holes.
Are there
have
rules
one
on the
hole?
release? Do you have to do it one-handed, or can you do like a two-handed?
You can do a two-handed spin as long as you're behind the foul line.
So as long as you're behind the line, it's fair game.
Yeah.
You could just throw it between your
there's
legs.
room
Yeah.
to do some
Can you kick it?
crazy
I get
stuff
you
in
wouldn't
bowling.
want to
Can
do
you
it.
use your
But
feet?
you say that. You said that people
Can you
like,
hold a cricket bat in your mouth? Sure,
You
but
know.
it's not going to work.
People, like you look at when football began and they'd laugh at the idea of an inverted winger.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's possible.
Well, we'll have to go.
There's some
bowling and figure it
innovation.
out.
As a
We're
team,
gonna go.
can you do the strategy that I think most children do, where you roll the ball so slowly that it gets stuck, and then someone else has to come behind and bowl it into your ball, and then it knocks it?
That
on?
would be a foul. That would be a foul, and someone might pull their gun if it was the Big Lebowski. But I think we all experience this, us three I'm talking about doing the pod, that when you're researching a story, you find something else that draws you down a rabbit hole of another crazy story. So looking up the 900 series, I said the first officially recognized by the United States Bowling Congress was 1997. In 1982, the 1st of July, Glenn Allison completed the first recorded 900 series, but the Congress doesn't recognize it.
Because
I can't actually find anywhere their exact reason, and there is, no kidding, a cult following of people who have appealed this multiple times to get it overturned.
right.
Their reasoning is non-compliant lane conditions, but I couldn't find what these non-compliant lane conditions were.
Maybe they changed the oiling regulations after a point and became standardized after.
Yeah, because like you're
in the
saying,
90s
if
or
like
something.
if the oiling like for us is like easy mode, then maybe.
Maybe it was an easy mode
Well,
one.
people say that, but back in the 80s, it wasn't as standard to have all these different variations of oiling. The
Yeah.
ball he was
so
using...
maybe it was more standard to have a easier type of oiling.
Yeah, and the ball he was using was one of those plastic ones that you or I'd use just as the rental balls
Oh.
or pick up at the alley,
The
not
other
his own
question
special
was,
ball.
and I suppose your answer will be it changes, but there must be an optimal one. Like, what weight are they like throwing with? Because like I feel like when I'm picking balls up at the alley, I'm thinking I want the heavy ball, and like
But then
as
the
heavy
finger
as
holes are too big for like you need.
It
well,
differs
I want to
between
go as heavy
person.
as I can comfortably hold.
Yeah, but the heavier you go, like you get the 11 or the 12. I think it's pounds.
There
weight.
is... I don't know the exact speed, but off the top of my head, there is a minimum speed that you have to reach. But it's not about how hard you throw it. It's about where you hit the pins that will determine if it's a strike or not. So, you know, I'll go with my little brothers who are 12 and 10, and they'll throw it way slower than me, but they'll still get a strike, and I'll low it down as fast as I can, hit the same sort of spot, and it won't be a strike because theirs was just in the pocket more than mine was.
So what you're saying is it's way more about technique than it ever could be about like the force and weight of the ball. And so the weight doesn't necessarily matter. You just need to pick the right weight that fits you to get the technique right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Could it like commercial lane? You know how sometimes you see the people like throw the ball up in the air and then it like really bangs
Yeah,
down
you don't want
into
to do
it.
that.
I know you don't want to do that, but maybe it's... they
See, we're
don't
talking about
recognise
this
the-
again. Try a new strategy.
No, I'm thinking maybe that lane is being used that the Congress doesn't accept, that it's not like got a divot into it to the point where any ball will just follow that kind of path.
Well, part of the argument for the people that want Glenn Allison's record to stand is that on that night of July 1st, it was a unusually low scoring night for the league. So it wasn't like the oil on all the lanes was super advantageous for everyone, and everyone was bowling high.
Like he's the only one.
Yeah,
that's
he's
just
the
gone
only
off.
one that's gone off. He was the only
And this
person
is
to get a
league
300.
bowling.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the disqualifier then? Like I was thinking too, like potentially it wasn't like, I don't know, a proper league or something maybe, but like no, it was
Yeah.
league bowling. What's the problem?
Exactly.
I'm thinking
There's
we need
no
to use our
reason.
influence to get this overturned.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm thinking. And
Everyone
as well,
write in.
to add fuel to the fire, I'll quote from one of the transcripts from their official, because I've looked at this again and again and again. This one's from 2014. There was one discrepancy that occurred of the team that went out to inspect the lane. Once they told them the bowling centre was at, no one touched the lane. They closed it off until people could come and have a look at it a few days later. While the box for non-compliance was properly checked, the word non was left off the written report. Thus, the sentence read that there was a complying condition. Later, the 3 inspectors signed affidavits pointing it out that they had meant to write non-complying. So the original report said complying, then they
So
went
it's a
back on it.
paperwork issue.
Then they went back and said non-compliant. So
Cheap.
there's some stuff there, but
Paid off.
it doesn't really affect our story because at the time of this, there was 21 other 900 series. Bill wasn't the first or going to be the first for his. It wasn't breaking that milestone barrier as we had from Dick Rutan for the last one. So I'll get to the story. This is a quote from one of the fantastic articles that are written about this by Michael J. Mooney of D Magazine. All you have to do is say the words "that night," and everyone at the Plano Super Bowl knows what you're talking about. They also refer to it as the incident or that incredible series. It's the only time anyone can remember a local recreational bowler making the sports section of the Dallas Morning News. One man, an opponent of Fong's that evening, calls it the most amazing thing I've ever seen in a bowling alley. And Bill Fong, he's dedicated not his entire life, but a lot of his life to bowling. So his friend Doug Swanson quotes, he bowls 5-6 times a week. Everything's bowling. That's all he does. He doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend or a family. He lives all by himself. Everything is bowling. Another friend of his on his team, the Crazy Eights, James Race.
Crazy 88. I've seen Kill Bill.
James Race is his name, and he looks a lot like a young Michael Sheaves.
Oh. Do we need to put images on on the...
I'll show you
social
personally
media.
after it. When Bill gets
He
going,
looks very handsome, everyone. Dad, I hope you're listening.
when Bill gets going right, he's a robot. So, game 1. January 18, 2010, Plano Super Bowl in Texas. Bill rocks up a couple hours early at about 5:30 to do what he always does and practice.
Is this his local?
This is his local.
Okay, so he's got a home field advantage here.
Well, everyone's sort of got a home field.
Oh, it's the
but
local league.
it's the local league. I mean,
okay.
it's Texas. There's a lot of bowling alleys there. But this is his local, his preferred one. Quote from Bill Fong. Some people practice and they try to score. When I practice, I actually work on little things. You know, your timing and trying to pick up a 10-pin, Fong says. 10-pin, notorious, one of the last on the right, for being a sticky pin that people can't get. So I was working on my footwork that day, and I wasn't even striking that much in practice. And when people look on the monitor, they say, "Hey, you're not bowling too well." I say, "Hey, I'm just working on some things." This is a guy that rolls at least 20 times a week.
That
Bowling.
rolls.
That's the
you gotta try
term.
new things. This is what I'm saying.
Rolling.
New strategies, and the man's testing it out. This is why he's good. That's why he's a champ. That's why his record counts.
For this league game, Bill and his team was on lane 27 and lane 28. And Bill knows that 27 hooks to the left. So he knows these lanes. He's here all the time.
And is he a left-handed or right-handed?
He's a
bowler?
righty.
Okay.
And Bill always bowls as the anchor on his team. So like a relay team for a 100-meter sprint, the anchor is your best bowler, the one who's going to come in clutch and save it right at the end or take you home over the finish line.
I know I'm diverting here again, but I'm just like thinking, because obviously it's right hand. You're saying there's an advantage for left. Like, what if you did like a sort of Rabona, like flick the ball around your back, and just like send it out the left
I
side?
think the ball's too heavy to be doing that.
No,
can
because
do
you
it.
could get a lighter ball.
Surely you can't change your ball during a game.
No, but
You can.
like
So you could
oh,
bring
well,
you could bring like 10 different balls and be like, okay, this is a 7-10 split. Incredibly hard. I need a lot of weight behind it to agitate the pins. I'm bringing out my 40-pound.
So it's like changing
ball.
clubs
Yeah.
in golf.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you choose the one for the shot.
But a lot of people, depending on the night, they'll just
Stick with it.
They'll stick with the ball because when you get a streak, you don't want to change anything.
But to be
there's-
fair, like Ben's saying, if you're finishing off certain, like honestly, it makes a lot of sense that you'd want to. I'm onto the spare. I'd actually want to switch to this ball, which is better as my finisher.
Well, I'm thinking like the AMF bowling or like 10-pin bowling, the plastic balls. The 6 is smaller than the 13. Just go up to a 40. That's so big that you're going to hit everything anyway. Because I'm sure there's a maximum diameter that the balls can be. And they just get denser.
I don't have it with me though. I didn't think you guys would get this stupid with the rules.
Stupid. We're looking for an advantage.
So Bill's bowling is the anchor, and he starts off the first game with a mini streak of 4 strikes, but it doesn't raise too much attention. This is nothing unusual for Bill. He's a good bowler. He doesn't routinely, not once a week, but he bowls 300s, and it's well done, but it's not, oh my God, well done.
It's not the balloons and the confetti coming down.
Yeah, it's not the Homer Simpson hitting 300 or anything like that. And then we go up to his 5th roll. Bill's 5th roll hit the pocket, but the pins didn't go down quickly. The 10 pin was wobbling upright, teetering, going back and forth. When Fong got what bowlers call a messenger. From the left, one of the pins he just sent bouncing around off the side and back wall came across the lane and clipped the 10 pin and sent it tumbling down for his 5th strike of the evening.
Question. You know how like they've got the spots where the pins are?
Yep.
If the pin's still standing but it gets knocked off its spot, does that count or it has to be knocked over?
You said it yourself, pin's still standing.
But what if like, the machine comes down to grab
Yeah.
them and like recenter them? What if it knocks it down grabbing it? And then you can't reset it because now it's in a new position.
Well, I
pin's
feel like
still standing.
I was
So it
going to
just
say,
gets reset.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because in like back in the day too, there was people that hand did it, not machines. I don't know how they do it in the sport, but I imagine I guess they would probably just go with the machines. But it's like, you could just set it all back up, but it's like obviously you got to go from play ends here, and the machines knocked it over. Like if some dude accidentally knocked it over while he's fixing up the pins, then you wouldn't reset.
If you or I went bowling and I had 1 pin left and the machine knocks it over and then it gets put instead of the 7th spot to the 1st spot, we're not going to go up to the counter and make a fuss about it. We'll just bowl with that one. If that happens in a pro game, they're going to go and move it to its correct spot.
Well, it was never a fuss. Like all the times I remember, it was just like, I've got like a 7-10 split, and then it goes to clear them and knocks the 7. I'm like, I've got a 10. I've got a 10 and nothing split now. Hell yeah!
Well,
and then I get it, and I get my spare.
Or like how long the machine takes to then collect it. Is there like a time limit? If it's wobbling, can be like, wait until it's stopped. If the machine just goes, nah, picks it up and resets.
It's not a problem that normally occurs.
Well,
There's enough time.
I was going to
between
say, I think they do wait quite a while. There must be sensors that go if there's any movement, it doesn't go. Because sort of like if someone's there, the machine's not going to go.
Yeah.
So maybe if the pins are wobbling. Come on, James, more research. I'm not answering your questions.
Some
like bowling alleys have like the strings attached to the pins and they get like sucked in. Is that regulation or they have to be freestanders?
These ones back in 2010 were freestanding. They hadn't got the strings on it yet. In the pro leagues, they don't do the strings. I don't really love the strings.
Bring
either.
your own pins.
Yeah. So Fong's 5th roll hit the pocket and he got a bit lucky. So he comes back to the table and he called it a lucky strike. And he described the rest of his bowls, the other 7 to make up the 12 for the first game. It felt like driving and catching a green light, then the next one, then the next, then the turning, and still catching every green light everywhere I go. Everything was going right for him. Bang, 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 bang. Hits 300 for his first game. They announce it over the PA. Bowling in lane 27-28. Bill Fong, 300. And there's a light spattering of applause. A couple people come up and shake his hand. But again, this isn't anything out of the ordinary.
Does his team win that first game?
I don't have any record of who won the game or anything like that, but when you're scoring this high, chances are you're going to win the game. But let me tell you a bit more about Bill Fong. We don't know anything about the guy yet.
Yeah.
We know he's
bowls.
single.
So Bill was born in Chicago, 1962, into a Chinese family. And
It's just crazy because he's not Chinese.
and a bit stereotypically, this is him describing the story, his mother demanded perfection academically from him, and he
Is that
disappointed
racist?
her.
Tiger mum.
He was only a C student at best, but he was friends with all the kids on the honour roll, and that was the expectation from his mum, and he never lived up to it. But school wasn't where his head was at. Bill always dreamed of being a pro athlete, not bowling at first. He wanted to be a basketballer or a footballer or a runner,
It's like, this ball's not heavy enough.
but he just didn't have it in him. He was too short to play basketball, and he was too thin to ever be good at football, and he wasn't quick enough for running. When he was young, his parents divorced, and he spent a lot of time back and forth between them. And the man who would later go on to become his stepfather used to take him and his siblings to the bowling alley on dates with his mother, because that was something that they could go on a date and the kids could come as well. And that's where Bill found his love for the sport. This is where all his problems, all the pressure that he felt from his mother to be good at school, all the troubles of not being as good an athlete as he wanted to be, all melted away, and he could just focus on the 10 pins in front of him.
I was going to say, it's like a little bit sad, but it's actually very sweet. Like, I'm happy that he's found an outlet.
It's good for everyone to find something.
Yeah, finds his vice.
And his stepdad promised him if he ever hit 120, which for people that don't bowl, 120 is it's an all right score for you or me. If I hit 120, I'm pretty happy. It's been a decent day at the alley if I get 120. For a kid, be pretty good as well. That if Bill hit 120, he'd buy him his own ball. Bill hit 120,
Didn't get a ball.
didn't get a ball. Bill had to buy one himself.
Snakes.
And then later, his mum remarried this man and moved away, leaving Bill and his siblings to live with his father. Bill then went on to join the high school bowling team and... What?
I'm just imagining a high school bowling team. I play varsity bowling. We're the rollers.
It's like me going for like the chess days when I was younger. It was just for a
You're
day
going to
off
get
school.
rolled. I'm going to bowl you into the ground.
Well, if you're making fun of him for joining the bowling team, listen to this. He went to the public library and checked out stacks of books about bowling theory.
Okay, what public library has stacks of books
Yeah.
about bowling theory?
I think maybe one book about bowling theory would be shocking.
Even that, yeah. Or even like books that mention bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Guinness World Record for something, one of those books.
That's
The
Bill's.
wildest story is that this library
Library,
is
yeah.
so stocked.
Let's go to this library. Was this in Texas?
It's in Chicago.
It's in
Is this
Chicago.
like the U.S. Congress of Bowling? This is like the U.S.
their
National
official
Bowling
library.
Again, I didn't research which library got on this. I was taking it at face value, but thanks for fact checking me on that one, guys. Let's go on to game 2. So 2 weeks earlier, Bill had practiced on lane 27 and 28.
Wait, we basically caught him out. The guy's lying. He's not checked any books out.
Hang on. We haven't caught anything out. We haven't gone and proven that there's not stacks of books at this library.
Yeah, but I don't believe it.
We should just look
don't
up books
believe
on
it.
bowling theory and then see how many different books there are.
Yeah, I want to see how many there are at all, let alone in one library.
All right, well, while I talk about game 2,
This will be on.
Look it up.
This is a post at Wild World. Of
I'm going to the National Library and going, I'm looking for books on bowling theory.
yeah.
See how
We'll
many
do
they
we'll
have.
do a investigation into this one.
So Bill remembered the oil patterns that was on 27 and 28 and remembered the oil pattern had shifted. So he did the unthinkable of someone that's on a hot streak and he switched balls. He wanted a more polished ball, something that rolled straighter. And he didn't switch balls for both lanes. One ball he used on lane 27, one ball he used on lane 28, which is ludicrous. People on another lane saw him making the change and said, "Is Bill switching balls?" A man called out to his friends. Bill replied, "Yep." used
Yep.
the new ball, hit a strike, raised his arms in the air and smiled, and felt on top of the world.
Are you allowed to change like handedness if you're ambidextrous?
Yeah.
You can.
You
So
can
it's
do
not
that.
like you have to pick your
No,
thing to
no,
sit
no.
through.
No, just change what you want.
You could do your bonus shot if you want.
Do you have to like? I know you have to wear bowling shoes to
Yeah.
the bowling alley.
Do
But
you?
that-
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just wear.
Well, I do
sneakers.
want to know because part of it is like you can't leave the scuffs, but you can have like white soled shoes. Like they'll let you do that at unofficial bowling alleys.
Yeah,
For
we
these
can wear
things-
sneakers at zone bowling.
Yeah.
But for the
specific sneakers, only
Yeah.
white soled shoes. So do they have
not
any-
even anymore. You
Yeah,
can
no,
wear
it's
whatever.
just as long as they're
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
like runners. As long as they're not like dress shoes. As long as they're grippy.
Bill said after getting a strike straight away after the switch, something unconventional, he felt as loose as a goose.
He's as loose as a goose.
Yeah.
It's good
What's
for
good
him.
for the goose is good for the gander.
In the fourth frame, both the 7 and the 10 pins stayed up just a little bit longer than he wanted. So he did the thing that I think all of us do when we're there, and he
Change
gestured
ball.
his arms
Oh.
to try and get the pins to fall. Obviously having no control over pins, like you said, Carl. If they can't hear you,
I would have been like blowing as hard as I can, even though it wouldn't do anything.
The
from
footage
that
is going to
distance.
get like pulled back on appeal. He interfered.
and the pins fell. Bill said it was like Moses parting the sea.
Okay,
I'd
Bill,
move
you
my
get-
hands and everything would get out of the way.
Okay, Bill, you're getting a bit ahead of yourself here. Like,
And then something similar happened on the 8th frame. Did the same thing. Boom. All the pins fell. Still on for that perfect series. By the 10th frame,
He didn't even bowl the ball. He just waved his hands, and they all fell.
by the 10th frame of the second series, people were giving Billy space. They could sense that something was brewing here. He hadn't made a mistake yet, and they didn't want to be the one that put him off. And this is where Bill had his first mistake of the night. One of his most powerful throws, tried to overthrow it a bit too hard, missed its mark ever so slightly. Because the oil was now evaporating in the left lane too, the ball found the pocket for a perfect strike. Noticing what happened on this first roll, he adjusted his position and finished the game with 2 more powerful strikes, number 23 and number 24 of the night.
The crazy thing is here, it's just like, oh, he looked at this, and that one didn't wobble down quite enough. Oh, and this one, I don't know about that. It didn't quite strike as much. He's just hitting strikes. The story is he's hitting strike
Yeah.
after strike after strike after strike
I've always,
after strike.
After strike.
I've never been a master at a sport, but it's like, you know, oh yeah, I just need to make a small adjustment, and you're saying that in your head, and it's like, oh, okay, I missed, I was just outside off. If I just change it slightly, really, so how much control? Like as an amateur,
Oh,
how
I
much
love
control do
saying,
you
like,
have?
no, when the boys miss, like, a goal, but it's like, nicely placed and everything, and I'm like, if the goal was 6 meters that way, it would have been top
Yeah, it's
bins.
like,
Like,
oh.
good job.
I know what's wrong. Let me fix it, and you instantly fix it. Like how much control? I guess if he rolls 20
I think
times
way
a week,
more than you think, and you know this as a sportsman.
Yeah,
Think
but
about how fine what we're doing in football is.
And when I've gone down and I've showed you how they oil it, the different balls,
yeah,
the different
I'm
positions.
just I've never been talented to the point where it's like, yep, I can feel this slight change in my movement or the power I put on it is making this
I mean, I
impact.
guess the way I describe it too, which we experience a little bit less because we're not blessed to experience every ball ever, but I do believe there's differences. Like we've all experienced the bazooka at some stage, but like there's like the Jabalani, all the different balls and stuff that people talk about and complain about in some instances. And you can feel a difference in those balls, and that's the difference we're talking about.
Yeah, your equipment, but I'm thinking like from my own personal level, like the
Yeah,
oils
but
change,
that's
but then
the
knowing
thing.
physically to make an
So-
adjustment, like I need to rotate my wrist.
If
an
you
extra
know,
3 degrees.
you're like, oh, I hit that perfectly, and with a bazooka, that would have been top bins. Like,
I've never had that feeling.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah, no, but, like, I make a save or something, but you go, oh, I've shanked that one, or that was a crappy pass, or I made good contact. But all I'm saying
but
is
then
I don't have the ability to go, ooh, if I rotate my ankle an extra 3
you recognize
degrees,
your
it would
mistakes.
be-
You say that, but you say, oh, if I rotate my ankle 3 degrees, and then you're making it sound ridiculous. But like you say, I shanked it. What do you mean by you shanked it? You're like, you got it wrong just in this particular way, so you make the adjustment to not shank it.
But my like mastery of something is knowing what you've done wrong and knowing how to correct it and then being able to correct it.
And
An
that's-
amateur can go, I did the wrong thing.
We're amateurs. We're not good. But
You're saying amateur, but this guy is not training and playing like an amateur. Just because he's not getting paid doesn't mean he's not at the level. He's bowling 20 times a week.
No,
He
I'm
knows
not
the
saying
adjustment.
Bill Fong isn't a master. I'm saying I don't have the expertise to then know. I'm sure he like that instance with the oil changing. He knows in his form, if I just change this slightly, he was training before just on his footwork and his timing, he'd know, okay, if I hold it for a tiny bit longer, it'll actually change the hooking, how much it'll hook and will be
we
perfect.
can agree. I think it's pretty
I don't
impressive.
have that ability.
But I think you're undervaluing yourself a little bit. I think you've got the ability to analyze that, this is how I'd want to correct it. Can you get it perfect? No. So yes, admittedly, this guy's a wonderful sportsman. But that being said, I feel like you got a little bit more in it, Ben. Let's go bowling.
We're
find
going
out.
to go bowling. And people did recognise Bill for this achievement. They announced another 300 game for Bill Fong over the PA system. And almost everyone in the centre came up and congratulated him. Some a bit awkward that they hadn't done it for the first one. And then something crazy started happening. Because bowling one perfect game, pretty cool. Bowling a second perfect game, that's pretty amazing.
Do they have a record of how many 600 series have been done?
They don't keep track of those. I'm sure I could find it if I really went digging down a rabbit hole.
Check the just 300 perfect games?
Well, they looked at the time of Bill's bowling, there was 11 899 games.
Oh, how do you even get 8? Just on the last one, you get
You get 9.
That's brutal.
I'm getting another vibe. I feel like it's like, because I was like Jamie Vardy's like scoring record. But I mean, 11 games in a row, impressive. But that's a little bit different. That's a longer endurance thing, more Dick Roten territory. But like for this, like three games, 300 points each game. It's more like getting like a hat trick each game, but in the Premier League, and you've got stacked opponents each game.
Yeah.
Or like 3 hat tricks in a row in the Champions League or something. So I'm starting to feel it. It's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. But let's talk about Bill Fong again before Game 3. We left off and he was just finishing high school. Bill went to college, but he didn't last very long. He dropped out of college, started smoking a lot of marijuana, and staying out all night, bowling, hustling people. That's how he was making his money.
So he's like a pool shark, but for bowling.
Exactly. What
That's
he would
insane.
do, he'd stay at the alley bowling all night from 6 p.m. all night, leave when the sun came up, go out, get some breakfast, go home, sleep.
What bowling alley's open 24 hours?
And I got to admit,
You would be surprised. You would be surprised. There is a fantastic, where I got a lot of this, documentary on YouTube that was crowdfunded on Kickstarter by the New York Times called Strike. And in the background of a lot of interviews, they're sitting in a back room at the alley. The alley's behind them. And on the TVs, it says open 24/7.
Oh.
People love
Well, there you
their
go.
bowling.
I mean, no, fair enough. I can see it happening in America.
It's a different world than what we have here in Australia.
And you're allowed to drink at these bowling alleys? So I'm
Yep.
imagining like hustling someone. It's a bunch of kids at a party. It's like, I wait all night for all the real
This is my bigger
degenerates to
question
come in.
because, like, I was saying, it's like a pool shark, but it's like obviously you can make a lot of money. It's like if no one knows you're a pool shark, obviously there's like you've got to be stealthy about it because no one's gonna want to bet against you. Otherwise, who's betting on bowling? Like just like at the alley, like, oh, I bet I could bowl a perfect game. Like,
We're having some
Okay.
brewskis. Oh, this guy next to us, he's crap. Oh, let's see if we can bully him into giving us money by betting on it.
And
then
you
he
know
plays
what?
like crap, and then you go, yeah, let's get more. And then he
and you
flogs
managed to make that happen once. Oh, that's incredible. You saying he made most of his money this way? How did he do that?
This feels like getting a stack of bowling theory books.
This is
Yeah.
the wild story here. I want to know what did he do?
enough to survive doing it.
Enough to survive is still
Enough
incredible.
to beat his pot addiction.
He did have some other side jobs, but eventually,
He worked at the bowling alley.
I see what you mean.
eventually he met his wife,
Hey.
age 22, and they got married. And she encouraged him and told him that he had to grow up. He couldn't spend his whole life hanging
am I
around
selling
bowling
weed?
alleys.
I know you're not making any money on being a bowling shark. That's
You're cheating on me at the bowling alley?
Yeah.
No, I'm making money. This is how I make my money.
So Bill gave up bowling and he became a barber. Started cutting hair. Bill quoted as saying, "It was just something I could always do for money. I like the artistic side, but it's not my passion." Just cutting some hair. But he still loves sport. He still loved the grind, the learning, the mastery of a sport. But
when that guy gets when United get the 5 wins and that guy gets his hair chopped, we need to get it Fong to come around and
cut his hair.
Yeah, he's a barber.
Still cutting some hair to this day.
There we go.
So as someone that loves mastering a sport, loves the toil and the grind, but isn't super athletic, is there another sport that you could think of that he could pick up?
Darts.
Not darts.
Pool.
Not
Lawn
pool.
bowls.
Not lawn bowls.
Bocce.
Not bocce.
Pinska.
Curling.
Golf.
Oh, rubbish. That's
That's a lot of effort at golf. It's not at all what I was
Golf
thinking.
takes a fair bit of athleticism.
Yeah.
I more mean in the mastery that you go again and again and again and again and again, and you'll get better at it just by trying. And that was what Bill's theory was. He had read that it takes 10 years of hard, dedicated practice, and you could turn pro if you're good enough.
So if you spend 10 years, you practice really hard, and then if you're innately good enough, then you can be a pro. Good work, Bill. Did you get that in your bowling theory books?
Well, yes. He read books on golf. He even started working at a pro shop and learned to cut clubs and stuck with golf for 10 years.
And he went pro.
Unfortunately, just like his bowling career, he did not turn pro.
His wife said, "Stop doing it."
No, she didn't tell him to stop doing it. The Fong family had a bit of a golf streak in them. Bill's sister at this time was on the Baylor University golf team. But Bill couldn't take the frustration of golf, and he swore off the game for good.
I can't believe he was like, no, I'd rather go back to bowling. Both frustrating sports in my mind.
I'm going to spend 10 years, I'm dedicating to hard practice, and then just go, no, I'm done. That takes a big man to do
it
that.
does. It does.
Man that knows himself. In between this time of his 10-year span in golf and 10 years off bowling, he and his wife got divorced, and Bill moved to Dallas.
I didn't see that coming when your wife takes your one passion away.
He moved to Dallas. He had a lot of friends there that he would go and visit, and he really liked the place. And throughout a tumultuous time in his life, he wanted a fresh start. So ended up moving there.
Fresh or old? Familiar.
And 14 years later, we found ourselves on this night, and Bill knew every lane at the Plano Super Bowl. Bill said, looking back, I guess bowling just always filled whatever emptiness I had. So that brings us to Game 3 of the series. And Bill again did the unthinkable and switched balls after talking to a friend. He said, "Hey, do you think I should switch balls?" His friend told him, "You're the one bowling like this. Trust your instincts." So Bill went with his gut, and he switched balls again and bowled a strike, his first bowl, and he said he felt like he was floating after switching once and having it pay off, switching twice and having it pay off. And now that he'd started the third game off with a strike and another strike and another strike, everyone knew there was something brewing here. And to go back to the start of explaining the league bowling, this wasn't just a guy who was bowling a strike, getting his ball, bowling a strike, getting his ball, bowling a strike.
5 minutes between.
He's waiting between for the other team to have their bowls and his team to have their bowls. So at this stage, the game doesn't matter anymore. I said I couldn't find what the result was. The result didn't matter. It's not about the result anymore. His teammates and competitors were just trying to get out of his way, trying to bowl as quick as possible so Bill could come up and have his turn. So a crowd of people at this stage had come to watch by the 6th frame. People were posting on Facebook about it because it's 2010. Facebook's still relevant. And more people are coming in. There was about 100 people lined up around this.
Were people posting on Google Plus?
They were. And we'll link to it on our Google Plus.
Yeah.
The alley went silent every time Bill stepped up. This was the only thing that everyone cared about. And strike after strike, he reached the final frame, and the whole alley began cheering for him. This was the first time in Bill's life that he was the center of attention, and he had a room full of people hanging on every moment, every move that he made, and cheering for him.
He had a wedding, didn't he?
Yeah,
Didn't go very well for him. That's a bit sad.
well, I guess
yeah,
No,
in
I'm
the bowling
happy.
community, I'm guess they're all like cheering for him.
But also-
no one's not really going to be going like, hope he fluffs it.
And I didn't mean to be so disrespectful just then. It's like, all power to him. I'm sure he had a great wedding. But it's like, clearly he values, like you were saying, it's like, to him, the most important thing was to be bowling and succeeding in that.
and not,
he
of course,
loves that.
not to downplay a wedding or anything, but that's a moment you're sharing.
Yeah.
If you're someone that's up there at your wedding going, this moment's all
I
about
guess
me, you probably shouldn't be marrying that
It was a
person.
surface thought for me. I was
Yeah.
like, for some people, it was like the most happiest moment of my life.
Yeah, of
It's like
course.
my wedding day or whatever.
I guess
and,
you're
for
doing
him-
a solo sport,
yeah.
well, mostly solo sport, and you're like
At this
dedicating.
point, it's solo.
Yeah, you're dedicating your life to
Some
it.
would consider
And then it's
getting
like,
married
wow,
a
I'm actually
sport.
getting attention for the thing I do, my passion, my.
So let me bring up one of Bill's past bowling mistakes as we reach the climax of his series. Bill was once close to the Texas record
It was
of,
a gutter ball, wasn't it?
of 890. Back 2 years ago before this series I'm talking about, he hit 297 in his first game and then 300 in his second. And someone came up and told him, like, hey, if you bowl well here, you could get the state record. Bill
And he
now...
blew it all.
Bill
It's like I
now,
jinxed him.
looking back on it, can admit that he choked that game. He overanalyzed it, and he thought too much. And he shot 169 in the last game, which for me would be a great score. But for him pushing for that record, the first time he had a chance at some sort of greatness and blew it. So I'll pull us back to the final frame. So again, we're in the 10th frame, but you get 3 shots.
So at worst, he's getting 870.
Mm-hmm. At absolute worst. 3, gutter ball, and then you wouldn't get your third shot because you need a strike or a spare in the first 2 to get your third. So by the time Bill reached the 10th frame and everything had built, all the adrenaline, all everything, and the magic had left him. He wasn't floating anymore. He wasn't doing things on pure instinct. Everything had sunk into him, and the weight of the moment, of what he was about to achieve, had hit him. He started feeling dizzy. His breathing got shallow, and he started sweating profusely. He was out of the zone. He knew his throat was off. No hook. He waved at it like he had done before, and the stubborn 9-pin was struck by a rolling pin and fell. Took a sigh of relief, and the crowd went wild. Videos of the internet are taken from here, and you can see in this the noise level. It shakes the camera of how excited everyone was getting. Bill corrected his mistake on the second last throw and crushed it. A strike straight down for his 35th.
So at this point, he's got 270, 290
In this series.
in this last one.
Yep,
So unless he gets a gutter ball, he breaks the record for Texas.
exactly. But it's not about breaking the record for Texas. It's about breaking this elusive club of 900.
I know I joked about this sort of before, but it's like that last one where he's like going like, oh, I've lost it. I'm not in the zone anymore. That's where you do the one where you twist around, flick it between the legs, down it goes, straight down the middle, strike.
This is where, if you're a real bowler, you throw a gutter ball in protest of Anderson, whose one doesn't stand.
So
Pick
for
a
his,
stand.
his 36th and final ball of the night, he steps up, and it was good out of his hands. He slung it beautifully and hit the pocket. This was the moment. I told you about fate. Do you believe in fate? The child of divorce who found solace in the bowling alley. The dumb friend seeing everyone else join the honour roll but him. The hustler smoking weed and staying up till 6 a.m. to bowling. The failed marriage. The underwhelming career, never going pro in either of the sports he dedicated years to. all came down to this moment. He hit it true. The crowd started going wild. But a stubborn 10 pin wobbled, and stood standing.
And everyone in the crowd cheered so hard it fell over.
They all jumped at the same time.
The pin stood defiant and didn't fall. Bill walked off in disbelief to the right. The crowd, it was like a balloon popping, and the energy was sucked out of the center. The friends that were waiting to hug Bill and jump on him and celebrate deep into the night were now consoling their friend and patting him on the back and wondering what went wrong.
What friends?
Bill has a lot of friends.
No, I don't mean what friends. I mean, what friends are they?
What, consoling him and...
No, just to immediately get down. Like, no, they got to celebrate. They got to cheer. He's a great...
$8.99 is an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
He's the 12th $8.99.
Bill was still understandably crushed. If you had already messed up earlier and you were chasing this record and you'd got on the last one, you'd be celebrating still. But to know you got that close and just missed out, Bill Fong lamented over some beers. He wasn't a drinker. With some friends over the moment that would have changed his life. He thought doing this would have got him on Sports Center. He'd be able to go pro.
It might have got
get
him in a wild
sponsorships.
world of sport.
Yeah.
Could have been a game changer for him.
He'd be more than just a regular guy. His friends told Bill that he was wrong and it wouldn't have changed his life. But I'm here to tell you that I'm not the only one as well that says this. But if Bill hit 900, it would have changed his life. Because Bill Fong went home that night still feeling a bit dizzy. He made some soup because he wasn't feeling well. And a little bit later started vomiting it up. And then he started vomiting up blood. And he started feeling worse than he had ever felt in his entire life. And his own words, he's Asian. We don't go to the doctor. My grandma was the doctor growing up. So he didn't call anyone. He didn't tell anyone. He just went to bed and he said, I was just hoping that I would wake up the next day. And when he did wake up the next day, he was thankful that he was still alive. That's how bad he felt. And then he went on and lived his life lamenting at that moment. And it was known as that night. But a year later, Bill had the same similar feeling that he had at the end of that series. That same dizziness, that same sweating, that same nausea. And he told his friends and they rushed him to the hospital. And doctors told Bill that he needed immediate open heart surgery.
I thought you were going to say, like, you need to immediately go to the bowling alley and bowl a perfect 3 series
Getting
in a row.
withdrawals. And the doctors told Bill's friends that if he'd brought in just a couple hours later, it's very likely he would have died. Bill was rushed into open heart surgery with only a 30% chance that he would survive this. It was that severe a situation. Doctors cut Bill open and they were able to complete the surgery and Bill Fong survived.
There was a 7-10 split on his heart and they hit it.
Doctors, while they were doing the surgery, found scar tissue there. And they determined that the cause of why he needed the surgery now...
One missing pin. I'm sorry, I got to stop. Just go on.
...was that he was having a stroke. But they determined that the scar tissue wasn't fresh from this and that Bill Fong had previously had a stroke. And when he told them about the incident, they concluded that when the 10th frame started and Bill was feeling dizzy and feeling nauseous and sweating, that he was in the early stages of having a stroke. And the doctors said that with all the excitement, all the craziness that was going on, Bill's heart, which he had abnormally high blood pressure to begin with, reached dangerous limits. And that if Bill had hit that final strike to reach 900, the pandemonium, the celebrations, the adrenaline rush that would have followed would have likely killed him.
But he would have died happy.
He would have died with 900, but he would have died, which begs the question, is it worth it?
I don't know. It would have been. It's like a martyr.
What does he say on the matter? Would he be happy?
It's a topic that comes up a lot between him and his friends, and he has to think about it. But ultimately, he'd take $8.99 and being alive than $900 and being dead.
So I guess he got a chance to get 900 again.
He didn't have his chance straight away, though. After a stroke and open heart surgery, Bill Fong had a long rehab recovery. Doctors said it would be at least 6 months until he bowls again. Bill, the determined soul that he was, took only 3 before he was out back bowling.
It's like doing like middle finger rehab. It's like,
Yeah, because I love going against my doctor's medical advice.
And you know what Bill did?
Got a 900.
He didn't get a 900, but he got a 300 straight away. His first time back at the alley 3 months later.
He's like, damn it.
And Bill says, having a Texas record and being Asian amazes me. That people are still amazed themselves when they see me that has the record and they assume it's some other Texan. I'm not a Texas guy that should have it. I'm just me. And the publicity that Bill got from this story helped him live out one of his dreams, not of becoming a pro bowler, but of dedicating his life to bowling. Bill was able to open his own pro shop, which he now still runs, and has dedicated more of his time into training and helping others perfect their bowling. Bill drills his own balls, makes his own stuff and everything, and is his own businessman, and for his friends, still occasionally cuts some hair on the side. As of today, in 2025, there's been 40 recorded 900 series. Bill Fong is one of the many that didn't reach it on $8.99. But his story is the wildest in the history of bowling.
Because he had a stroke.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I feel like the guy getting 2 900s is probably like good for him, but
It's a good story though. Admittedly, I see why you chose this one. All right.
poor guy though, like in that moment having a stroke.
Yeah.
See, fate would be he doesn't have a stroke. Fate in my mind there is saying Bill Fong can never hit a 900. We're going to give him a stroke so he can't.
Yeah,
can't do it. Fate's screwing him over.
Fate was saying, this can't be, man. You're exceeding
You've wasted your life.
expectations.
You're not allowed to succeed at bowling. You're wasting your life. Go play golf. Go back to golf.
Consider flying around the world or, winning a soccer tournament in Vietnam during a war.
Getting involved in your own Olympics.
Or getting involved in your own Olympics.
You guys don't agree with me that this is the wildest bowling story.
It's the
But-
only
Well,
bowling
admittedly,
story.
I will
you've
say
got
that.
me very excited about the world of bowling, and now I'm going to go investigate it. But
Yep.
I'm
I'm gonna go
just
read every
thinking
bowling
it's
theory
got to be
book I
more
can
wild
find.
than that, because this is an awesome sport. Very cool.
And I feel misled. Talking
Yeah?
about his 900 series. It wasn't his 900 series. It was his 899 series.
Yeah. Robbed. You can't write that. When you write that on
Yeah.
the ranking
Yeah,
thing.
you have to say
it's not
his
900.
attempt at a 900. But I guess then that gives away the...
I didn't want to give it away. I wanted it to be a full crescendo into it. Let us know at Wild World of Sport if you think I misled everyone.
The wildest thing, like, I want to root for the guy, but when you're vomiting blood and you go, I'll be fine, like, you lose me a little bit there, I'll be honest.
When you're seeing demons and you're going, I'll
Well,
keep flying.
Let's have a pause, and when we come back, we'll rank Bill Fong's story on our Wild and Mild board on our quest to find the wildest story from the world of sport. Welcome back to the Wild World of Sport. This is the part of the episode, if this is your first time, where we try and rank the story that we just heard on our Wild and Mild, very scientific ranking. If this is your first episode, go back, listen to the other ones, so you've got some context over what we're talking about now. We're trying to put the story of Bill Fong's 899 pin series on our board. You guys seem a bit underwhelmed at the end of that
Admittedly,
story.
once you talk about it and you're like, now that you're being honest with us and you say it's his 899 series and everything, it is a fantastic story. It's a very wild story. and like the whole circumstances of it and everything. And obviously quite the achievement anyway. He was one pin off,
He's got the Texas bowling record.
Yeah, and he was one
Still,
pin off
like,
that
no one's got
900
a...
series.
I guess there's only 46 or what is it, 47.
Yeah. There's only been
Yeah.
one this year. January 18, 2025 is the last 900 series.
I do feel like I really liked this story, I gotta say. And I think a lot of it is just maybe thinking of fond memories of bowling.
You guys seem like you've been a bit misled by me, and that's underwhelmed the story.
Like, oh, I've got the state championship. Like, if he didn't have a stroke, no one would know his name outside that bowling alley. And if, a bunch of people have already hit 899, it's like, oh, okay, you were really good, but you weren't the best.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't great.
Admittedly, too, it's a great story.
I
For example,
enjoyed
too,
the whole story.
You look at, like, Sunderland Till I Die, right?
Do you have a reference that
Sunderland
isn't
England.
football related? Like, just once, give us a reference that isn't
Carlin
football
is
related.
Wild World of Sport, and the sport is football.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not
Drunk
into many other
Socceroos, Carlos Raposo,
Anyway, but it's like
Fanatic,
Sunderland Till I Die. It's like obviously like that first season they do so crap and they just get relegated, and then again
Next
immediately. So
Run
it's
it
like,
back.
but cinema, right? That stuff's fantastic, and so it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be sporting achievement for the sporting story to be amazing. It is.
You're missing
And-
one
well,
key word
actually,
here, though,
no.
Carlin. Wild. It was a very interesting story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But is it wild?
Well, that's it. It is wild. And in fact, that's the only factor here because it's like, okay, we're talking about achievement and stuff. And in a sense, certain levels of achievement make it more wild. But all this story has is its wild elements. Like, it doesn't have that great, huge sense of achievement. It just has
I
the
feel like the
wildness
one
of the
wild
story.
element is someone who bowled for decades, committed their whole life to it, had a stroke at a crucial moment in their career. Like, I don't think getting a divorce isn't wild. Being a middling student's not a wild. Dropping out of college isn't wild. Like, in my
Okay.
mind, for like the story
Look,
of
But you think
this is at the
talk
part
about
where
it.
I glaze it a little bit and I try and ham it up.
Carlin is
But I
the
was
glazer.
going to come around and come back to it and say, like you said, though, admittedly, it's not that incredible of an achievement.
And also the
a
fact-
sporting
yeah.
achievement.
Let
So it is a
me
good
just,
story.
Ben, put it somewhere. Tell us where you think it is, and we'll argue with you whether it should be, well, probably not lower, but higher.
if it
Give
was
us a
just
spot to
if it was
start.
just how much I enjoyed the story, it'd be quite up there. For how wild it is, well, it's definitely not worse than Fanatic Boost, but
Wow.
I heard that joke by Felix in his episode. So I'm saying it's...
I'm cut, by the way. Like there's no audio that can.
Well, I just don't understand CSGO.
I'm gonna be honest too, and Jake can back me up on this. I complained about that episode a lot too. I knew it wasn't the most wild thing out there, but I thought I'd try something different. All right, I'm being shunned for it.
I'm thinking probably just above Sergio Motzenang is where I'm thinking.
To be honest, I was thinking because Margaret Abbott obviously had an achievement in a sense of like something, especially like an international achievement too. It's pretty good.
This
So,
isn't achievement ranking, though.
I know
Because
I know it's not
Nero
achievement
didn't
ranking.
actually achieve anything. They were stripped. Eddie Goodell didn't achieve anything. O'Brien didn't win anything. Raposo definitely didn't win anything.
Eddie Goodell
like you
achieved
said, is the
Baseball
story
Hall of
that
Fame
crazy?
status and a murder victim.
I think if anything, like
So getting murdered
this is
is better than
That's
having
pretty
a
wild.
stroke.
This does have a sort of combination with the Chris Moneymaker story, which I'm not saying it belongs up here, but I'm just saying that in the sense that he had his moment to shine and he just took it and off he went, and it was like sort of a layman sort of story where it's like this mediocre guy makes it big, but he doesn't really make it as big as that, and he really doesn't make it that big at all.
It feels like one of those, cheesy sports movies where the underdog scrappy team makes it to the final and then loses because they're not as good as the other team, but they learnt. Like Coach Carter. It feels like a Coach Carter kind of thing.
It's like they've tried to make
Except
a
he
really
didn't
cool
learn
bowling
anything.
movie, and then everyone's going like, I don't really want to watch a bowling movie, and so it just kind of flopped at the cinema.
Well, I think
Anyway, I do like the story.
What do you think, James? It's
Well,
your story.
what maybe Ben more than Carlin is forgetting here, that in all likelihood, if he didn't have a stroke, he would have bowled 900. And it's the fact that he did have the stroke, or if he didn't have the stroke, he wouldn't have been his life in peril.
Like, he had a medical episode. Like, and he knew he had high blood pressure. Was he, like, medicating for it? I know he said he doesn't believe in doctors, but...
Okay, no.
I'm happy for him that he's alive and had that achievement and that moment of attention. But it's like...
Ben,
I'm thinking...
no. Ben's out here going, oh, funny. I'm putting it at the bottom.
You're putting it at the bottom. You just want to not be bullied for having the fanatic.
No,
boost.
because there was some cool... I think this story is cool, admittedly. But, like, I do see with... This is all the flaws in this going... Can you guys go and comment and tell us what's better? Because I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is hard.
Genuinely speaking, it's like... There are some wild elements to this story. I admittedly doing it, and I knew it would be a difficult story because... Well, first of all, you guys don't know a thing about esports. You have no idea what the hell I was talking about. But it's like the context of it, like... It's so crazy because you have to understand the context of it. For this guy, it's like, yeah, we can understand the context of it, and it's pretty crazy. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that great of an achievement. I do get what you're saying. It's a really cool story.
I think also on the notoriety factor, like you said at the start, for people at this specific bowling alley in Texas, they remember this night like this. Does anyone else, like you said, people see that he has the record and go, "What? I expected a Texan to have it."
I'm not here to compare it too much to the other things, and specifically Fnatic Boost. But it's like, if you ask like a Counter-Strike fan, this is the whole reason I did this. I'm like, what's the craziest thing that happened in Counter-Strike? I'm like, to be honest, there are other crazy things that I can think of, but this is the one that's like had the most lore to it that I was like, oh, this is such a good story. I'll do that one.
It fell flat. I'd be happier if he hit his 900 and died. I think that would have been a more... No, sorry, that's not true. That's a misspeak. I wouldn't be happier. I'm glad he's alive. But I feel like that would have been more wild.
Yeah, still going. And, well, you think, who knows about this story? He got enough media coverage and attention from this story to open his own pro shop. Think about how much it costs to open a business. And it's a niche business as that. It's not like opening a supermarket where everyone has to buy groceries. Only a certain select group of people are going to a bowling pro shop.
I guess if there's 60 people in the world or 70 people in the American Bowling Congress who have a $8.99 or $900, I'm going to the expert who's good enough to hit those marks. And I guess a professional bowler who's making any amount of money isn't going to go into like small business.
And I'm looking at it too. Because, I mean, sometimes we're pretty certain, to be honest. I feel like even later stories were pretty certain. But it's like, for most of them, like, because we were talking about, like, the sporting achievement sort of element of the ranking and stuff. Most of them are sporting achievement. But then, obviously, you've got some outliers. You've got Michael O'Brien, I guess Carlos Raposo, even, technically. Because it's like, his is fake sporting achievement.
Same with Eddie Goodell. His isn't really...
It's wildness. I'm happy...
Well, but then, and then you go sporting achievement, and so, but then the Wisnet, and then sporting achievement... I guess sporting achievement. For people
listening, Carlin's going down the list: Jousting, Wizinator, Margaret Abbott, Jacko Makako, Sergio Motsaneng, Fnatic Boost at the bottom.
It's all sporting achievement. But then it's like this one, and it's sporting achievement, but it's like, is the achievement that great?
I also think, okay, if the other way I can think about it is, how often do you have someone one step away from greatness that then fails because of a medical issue? And I guess the doctors are assuming.
And the story really is that if he had hit it, he would have died. So the fate, this is why I started with fate. Was it, if you believe in fate or not, was it fate for him to not get this? Because if he did, he would have died. We have to wrap it up and rank it. I don't think it's the lowest. If you two agree that it's the lowest, it'll go the lowest. But I'm happy if it's above Sergio but below Jacko Makako in that little spot there. But if you two want it the lowest, go the lowest.
You think the lowest, Carlin? I'm happy to go in between, above Fnatic, but below Sergio.
All right, let's put it there then.
But Bill Fong, we wish you the best. And
surely next to Fnatic. Don't make it be the bottom. Bill Fong goes right there. You can all fix it.
He's hijacked it.
Bill Fong, I think we are all rooting for you to hit a 900 in a series game if you still play.
Yeah, I'm not. I hope you stay alive. I hope you stay well. Stay at home, Bill.
And as well, we're
pat your
all
cat.
rooting for Glenn Allison to have his 900 upheld.
Absolutely.
That'll do us for this episode of Wild World of Sport. Bill Fong and the 899 series. Let us know where you think this ranks. Does it deserve to be equal with the Fanatic or below or above? Where can they let us know, Carlin?
No, don't say it. You can't do you can't say it 2 episodes in a row.
2 episodes in a row? I'm pretty sure I say it every time he asks me.
Yeah, but like right off the bat.
Ben, where can we find
You
it?
can find us at Wild World of Sport. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, as well as most social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
And wherever you're listening, 5-star review and nice positive comment. Not even about the show, just
About
be
Fanatic
positive
Boost.
about life. Yeah, the Fanatic Boost.
Positive comments. No. Just give us better rankings. That's all I want.
Yeah, help us with our rankings.
I've been the lane commissioner, the congressman of today's story, James Whybrow.
James' brother Ben, no relation.
I'm Carlin, because apparently stopping one thing short is good enough.
Terrible.
See ya.
Bye.
Have a good one. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there.
Yeah.
That's Marcy's stripper song.
What?
Yeah, if she had a stripper song, that would be it.
It's a weird stripper song.
Yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there.
Okay.
Mine would be
Open up.
Bangarang.